And a jolly good morning on a bright and blustery day, autumnal day here in North London, and welcome to part 6 of my walk of the full length of the River Lea from Lea Grave in Bedfordshire through to the River Thames. And yes, if you want to watch the full series of walks and you've just happened upon this particular video, part 8, then I suggest you stop watching this one now, click on subscribe and go to my channel and have a look for the previous 7 episodes, which will be already posted. Obviously you'll find 8 and potentially also episode 9, dependent on when you find this video, which will be the final part through to the River Thames, which I'll be doing very soon. And there'll also be probably a bonus part 10 to look at too. So with no further ado, here I am at Tottenham Locks, where I finished part 7, just up there and just close to Tottenham railway station. And today I'm going to walk to Hackney Wick, or at least Hackney Wick railway station, or to the nearest part on the River Lea navigation that goes past that particular station. It's approximately 4 to 4.5 miles. Should take somewhere around about 90 minutes to 2 hours, depending on how quick I am. And yeah, we'll see what we see along the way. Like with all the other videos, who knows until we find it. This is called Pym's Brook, I believe, which is really flowing quite heavily. It's a kind of a water management channel really, that helps to keep the level of the navigation the same as a canal would be, not flowing too fast. There's been a lot of rain just recently, so consequently a lot of the little rivers and streams and so on that run very close to the Lea navigation are very full of water at the moment, to stop the actual canal, the navigable part of all of this, becoming too full with water, or of course during drought situations not enough water in at all. So that's what they're there for, and it really is pumping out a lot of water this morning. I have actually walked this section of the Lea navigation once before. I've got another video that you'll find, which was just a short walk from Tottenham to Seven Sisters, and incorporated the very first section of today's walk. Not very far, a little bit later on I'll come to a park that leads off from the canal here, and that's where the walk to Seven Sisters took me. Past a very interesting museum actually, a beam, was it a beam engine museum? I can't remember now. I didn't actually go in the museum, didn't have time. In fact, I think it was actually closed at the time of day I was walking past it. But that did look very interesting indeed. So, welcome. As if you've already seen the other videos, you'll have known that I started off way back in, I think it was June 2023, the first section, early in the morning, in Lea Grave in Bedfordshire, and walked to Luton. That was part 1, through the suburbs of Luton, from the very place where the River Lea rises out of the ground as a spring. And it's gone through a lot of phases to get to where we are now, not least just a standard river that in parts, particularly through parts of Hertfordshire, I was unable to actually walk next to it. And I think it's probably part 4 roughly. I did spend quite a considerable amount of time walking along almost a motorway, a dual carriageway, which was not very pleasant at all, and it was an extremely hot day. Now, I've been doing this in bits and pieces as a result of other commitments such as work and family and everything else that stops us from laying out firm plans. And I've just got down here along the river as and when I can. I live in Hertfordshire, so the first part of this was fairly easy to do and fairly quick to get to the river at some point. As I've got further away and into London, slightly more planning has had to take place. Anyway, so once you got to the navigable part, which again, if my memory serves me correctly, was round about Ware in Hertfordshire, you've had a towpath along the side, which has made it a lot easier to walk next to the water. Prior to that, it is literally a river that starts off quite small, goes through some nice quaint little villages along the way, and burrows its way underneath Luton for quite a way as well. And yes, I mean, so I've seen two changes of seasons really. It was summer when I started, it's now getting towards the end of autumn, and I should be finished in the next week or so before we actually reach winter by the Thames. So that's been interesting. Of course, along here quite a lot of boats are permanently moored up. People live here, this is their homes, and at the moment it's mid-morning. I can smell wood-burning stoves on the go, and I can smell breakfast being cooked. Not a bad combination of smells, I have to say. So on my walk to Seven Sisters, this is where I turned off from the navigation. It's not really very far, probably half a mile at the most from where I joined at the Tottenham locks. Markfield Park, that's the name of it, and the Beam Engine Museum. It's quite a nice park actually. I had a little look around when I came before. It was middle of summer though on that occasion, and today, as you can see from the leaves blowing everywhere, it's definitely in the middle of autumn. I love autumn actually, it's a nice month for me. Not least the pollen levels are very low and it's still relatively warm, so yeah, I don't know what this is about here. I did notice that last time I came. Kind of concrete building that appears to have, well, doesn't really tell you what it is. Playground really. Anyway, let's carry on. We're supposed to be going down the Lee navigation. One of the great things about London, and there are a lot of great things about London, is the museums, and the fact that there are so many of them. Obviously there's the big name, big ticket item museums like the Science Museum, Natural History Museum, Victoria and Albert, and so on and so forth, but there's so many little small museums all around the city. On the whole, they're free to go in, although they generally do ask you to leave a bit of a donation to try and keep them all going. And if you're interested in a particular subject, there's almost certainly going to be a museum here that will satisfy your curiosity. London Underground, the London Transport Museum, excellent place. You do charge to go in there, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I'm sure I paid to go in there. And well, there's loads more. In fact, if you look at one of my other videos with regard to where it was about walking around Bermondsey and Rotherhithe, I'm pretty sure I went past a small Brunel museum there as well. I tend to be walking when they're either not open at all because it's the day of the week they don't open, or too early or too late and they've already closed. I mean, it's a proper little community down here when you look at the little sheds with the wood for the wood burning stoves all along here, and little sheds to keep stuff in, gas cylinders and so on. It does sadden me though when I come across so much litter that's ended up, and it highlights it when you come to a boat that's been moored up for quite a while, and there's like kind of a build up of just general rubbish in the water, bits of wood and so on, but so much actual litter that's been found its way into the water. Just back there on the last episode, I think I found a fridge hidden in a hedge, or thrown in a hedge, and just back there was a settee. And you know, it's things like that. It's not acceptable, is it really? But there you go, we're in a big massive city now, and this sort of thing happens. But yeah, if you just look here at this, these two boats moored up here look like they've been there quite a while, and the amount of old bottles and stuff like that is just floating around there. Ultimately, of course, that's going to end up in the sea, and yeah, River Thames initially. Having said all of that, I do believe this is, particularly when you get to the last stretch in the east end of London out to the river, it used to be pretty horrendous down there, and it's been regenerated and made a lot nicer than it used to be. And this is pleasant enough along here. This is, don't get me wrong, the towpath could probably do with a bit of work doing on it in parts. A lot of puddling, a little bit of wear and tear because of the water build up. But on the whole, it's really pleasant actually. Look at this boat, this mast, folded down mast. Fantastic. There's some really interesting boats to look at along here as well. They're not just all converted working boats and long boats, coal boats and things like that. There's all sorts of stuff down here. Yeah, I mean, this is really what you absolutely do not want to see at all. And that's the fridge floating out there. Absolutely unacceptable. Those things don't accidentally fall in the water. There's no gust of wind that will put that in the water. That's been thrown in by somebody. I've said this on numerous occasions, on numerous other videos, not even to do with the River Lea, just in general, walking in the countryside, by rivers, by canals, wherever, that if there is anyone watching this video that does that kind of thing, chucking litter here, there and everywhere, then hold your head in shame. You're a disgrace. However, I tend to think that the sort of people that chuck litter into canals and rivers and throw fridges and so on into hedges are probably not the sort of people that look at videos about walking in the countryside and along canals. But if you know anyone that does that, show them this. Show them what an absolute mess they're making of the environment. Now, this is nice just here. I'm not sure if this is probably to do with these flats and apartments just in front of it. Doesn't appear to be accessible from the towpath, so I'm not thinking it's something to do with anyone that's moored up here. Well, that's really nice. I like that. See how it can look. Right, rant over. I can't do anything about people like that, I'm sorry. I can't.
It sound right, boys.
Watermint Quay. Now, just looking at this, where these cars are parked, I would say that there's probably was an inlet from the canal at one time, just along here, that led up to, if you look at the walls on each side, leading up to these converted houses that were probably businesses at one time. Interesting. Watermint Quay. Don't hit the fridge, whatever you do, ladies. Just had a little quick Google on Watermint Quay to see if there was any nice information about it, but nah. The only information I could find was online estate agents trying to sell extremely expensive high-end apartments. But yeah, just looking at it, I think this must have been some kind of coal inlet or something at one point. It's a nice little park though down here, I have to say. As I keep saying though, just a shame about some of the littering parts. On the whole though, it's not too bad. It's only when you sort of have a closer look, well, you can't really miss an actual fridge floating in the water, can you? But when you look inside some of these bushes and hedges just to the side here, there's a lot of rubbish in there. So quite shameful, really. A lot of it's been covered over by all the leaves that have fallen out of the trees as well. So you're probably not seeing the worst of it actually. Probably about just over a mile into the walk now. There's another of those lifeboats. Recognise what this is coming up as well. It's this will be a rowing club. You can just tell by the way that the bank is lowered down to allow you to get the boats in. Very similar to the River Ouse in Bedford. There's lots of rowing clubs there, and very similar when you walk along. The Jimmy O'Neill Boathouse. Oh yeah, the ʻliː Rowing Club, there you go. Very typical kind of building for along this sort of stretches of water. And I guess the group of ladies I saw rowing earlier on have come out of there. There's quite a lot of boats in there actually when you look. Massive array. Over there, which has got a bandstand, a pond, and I think there is a little cafe just there, just by the water here. And there's some extremely nice breakfast kind of smells wafting out from it. And this is Highbridge. So we are here at the Valley Springfield Marina, which is just going to come up on the left at the moment. Springfield Park, Walthamstow Marsh and Nature Reserve. And this is quite a nice section. My previous best section was back around Hertford to Ware, around that area. It was lovely along there. And the cross-country bits in Hertfordshire where it is just a small river really, and the bits where I didn't have to walk down a dual carriageway, they were very pleasant indeed. Is a very big marina actually. You can't see the half of it from here, the ʻliː Valley Marina Springfield. This is what the sign says, but it goes all the way around the other side of those trees, and there's another entrance over there. Sorry about the wind, it is a very, very windy day today. Just with some sort of bridge again here. Ah, right, so let's see. Yeah, you can go over either side now. I'll stick to this side, I think. Actually, change of plan, I've just turned around. I'm going to go over that bridge. I'm partly using, you don't really need to use an app or Google Maps or anything for this section of the walk, other than to just affirm which direction you should be going in places, especially where there's a crossover here. And my trusty Go Jauntly app is suggesting I walk now on this side of the navigation, which will give me a chance to take a few nice photographs. The further I've come along here, through London, it's becomes a lot more apparent how permanent these moorings are for a lot of people. And this is almost like moorings with a back garden. I can't say that anyone's cultivated them as such, but seems to be an area where lots of stuff is kept off their boat, various boats, bikes and bits and pieces, wood. And just occurred to me, I've not really thought about this just now, is what about things like refuse collection? These are official moorings, I guess, that you pay a licence or something to be there, or even own. I'm not really sure quite how it works, but does a dustbin cart come down here once a week? There's no evidence of any actual dustbins like wheelie bins that you would leave out or anything along those lines. So presumably they just collect everything up in a bag and take it all to a location somewhere. There's a pub there right by the water on the other side called the Anchor and Hope. Some of you may know that. It's like a pleasant place to sit out on a summer's afternoon, watch the boats go by. It is fascinating what you come across walking through London. AV Row Arches. Walthamstow Arches Nature Reserve was designated a site of special scientific interest in 1985. Sorry, I've just eaten a sandwich. I haven't quite finished it yet. It's one of the, unprofessional, I know. It's one of the last remaining areas of semi-natural floodplain grassland in London and is home to several uncommon plants and insects. And then it goes on to mention what you may or may not see here. But this is interesting. Aviation history. 1909, a freelance inventor, Elliot Verdon Rowe, AV Rowe, rented 2 railway arches here as workshops to build his plane. There are the railway arches. I'm guessing that's the line that goes into Liverpool Street from here. To build his plane, yes. In June he made a series of short jumps and then a 100-foot hop. On the 23rd of July he finally made several 900 feet flights, becoming the first person to fly over British soil with a British designed machine powered by a British engine. He later went on to create Avro, one of the world's greatest aeroplane manufacturing companies, and made such famous planes as the Avro Lancaster. 2 blue plaques commemorating his achievement can be seen on the walls either side of the railway bridge here. Well, that's fascinating. I've never ever heard of that before. I'm not quite sure where the blue plaques are. There's a Network Rail sign up there telling you who to call if something happens to the bridge. I'll say it never ceases to amaze me, London. Ah, there we go. There's a blue plaque. I don't know where the other one is. Somewhere else. Waltham Forest Heritage. Under these arches, Älliott Verdon Roe assembled his Avro #1 triplane. In July 1909, he made the first all-British powered flight from Walthamstow Marshes. There you go. So, welcome to Walthamstow Marshes, a place of great aviation history. Fantastic. That there are cattle grids so close to the centre of London, but out there somewhere apparently are some cattle. I've not seen any, but this is to stop them going any further. Okay, so there's this kind of service road, if you like, that runs parallel, and there is a towpath that you can walk along, but it's not in particularly good condition. It's very wet and muddy and not very wide, so I'm going to just stick to this for the time being. But the Lea is just over there on the other side of all these brambles. A massive fan of signs like this that give you more than just the local information. So here we have the Lea Valley Walk, the darker green sign at the top, giving you some distances to where you can get to. Hackney Wick being 2 miles away, that's about right. I'm roughly about halfway through now, and obviously one or two other interesting points of interest along the way. The last section then, I'm guessing, Island Gardens at the end, will be 8 3/4 miles from here, so 6 miles or so from the beginning of the next and final part of this walk. Back in the other direction, however, it's shown me the places I've already walked through, all the way back to Leagrave, where this walk started, 48.5 miles. It seems further than that, but there you go, that's what the sign says. And then the other one underneath, the lighter green, is the Capital Ring, which is, as it says, a ring round the capital. and 32 and a quarter miles to get you to Richmond Bridge. That will be on the River Thames at Richmond, obviously, and Crystal Palace Park, 27 and a half miles. Capital Ring sounds interesting. I've a feeling that's going to have to go on my walking list for some time in the future to do a complete circumnavigation. Now I'm wondering if that I have another walk that goes from Elstree and Boreham Wood to High Barnet. I'm wondering if that is part of that Capital Ring, or that is another walk that I was on. I did a section of some walk between those two places a while back. The video's already out if you're interested to have a little look. But yeah, fantastic. I love those signs. Pub, another pub here. Pub and garden. Presumably the garden's out the other side. Pubs by water and canals and rivers and so on. Always popular places, especially on a nice sunny day. The name of the river or navigation does get a little bit confused along this part of London. Some points it's called the Lea, spelt Lea. In some parts it's spelt Lle. And that little section back there, which is certainly perfectly navigable, is classed as the River Lea. The bit just prior to it was the River Lea navigation through this weir just over there. That is it becomes the River Lea, and just here the river, or the River Lea navigation again. So yeah, it is it's a series of many water channels that are fed by a river to keep a navigable canal at the right level, so boats can go up and down them, and that's what you end up with here. So it does make it interesting and endless possibilities for walks, because all these little offshoots also have paths you can walk along on in the main, but I'll be sticking to the main path right the way through to the Thames. Really nice here. It's a really blustery day. You can probably tell it's probably blowing across the microphone. The leaves are blowing absolutely everywhere today. So over the water again we go. Just over this wall is the Middlesex. Just over this wall is the Middlesex filter beds and Nature's Throne. I'm not quite tall enough, even on tippy toes, to see exactly what that's all about. But again, it'd be some sort of water engineering to keep this here canal at the right level. And dependent on which map you look at, it's now called the Stansted Mill Stream. So I don't know what that's all about. One map says it's the Lea navigation, the other Stansted Mill Streams. There's loads of water around here, lots of little offshoots, channels and so on and so forth. So I think it does get a little bit confused if you just follow the Lea Valley Walk signs. Then you can't go too far wrong. That was an entrance actually into the, there we go, Middlesex filter beds. Actual, and it's a nature reserve, 8 till 17:30 today. That's quite interesting. Not really got the time to head through there today, but looks like worthy of a walk around. Well, I think I'm going to say now, I think this is my favourite section of all so far. I've got one more to go. The bit back around Ware and Hertford really was fantastic. And a section across Hertfordshire from, where were we going? From Harpenden through to Hatfield. That was splendid too. But in terms of things to look at and points of interest along the way, this has been the best so far. I mean, look at this. Registered with the Canal and River Trust, but run over there by someone on a bike. You can take the grumpy Londoners out of London, but you can't take London out of the grumpy. What's the saying? I don't know. Grumpiness out of London. Mind you, some bloke stood in the middle of the cycle track, I suppose, is a little bit annoying. Beautiful just here. It's very hard to believe that so close to the centre of London here. Apart from all the noise, there's a lot of traffic noise. It's probably coming out on the camera's probably picking that up. And aircraft noise. Either aircraft heading towards Heathrow or London City Airport. I'd say probably Heathrow where we are here. Look at that, splendid view. Such an array of different sorts of boats as well. It really is quite fascinating. What's currently described as the River Lea itself is winding its way through Hackney marshes, which are generally over in that direction over there, and quite a large area of natural land that you can walk around. So the marshes to my left have been there always, and presumably will be there always for environmental and logistical reasons, and as a place for people to get out in the fresh air. Let's hope that's the case anyway. Now, when you look to the other side, and this has been the case right the way along really from once come under the M25, there's so many new apartments built up along by the water, because being by water of course is always desirable. Some of the homes there have been around a little bit longer, but certainly those ahead are quite a lot newer. I do always wonder what was there before. I'm not from this part of the world really, certainly not London. I do come here a lot. I've never lived in this part, or I've never lived in London at all in fact, and certainly never ventured into these parts of London that often before, so this is all new to me, and I find it absolutely fascinating actually. Obviously there's been a massive regeneration of the certain parts of London, particularly the East End, over the last 30 and 40 years, and I know for a fact that the Lea was a very derelict and unloved and uncared for waterway at one time. Okay, so I've seen a bit of undesirable stuff floating about in it today. I believe it was an awful lot worse back in the 70s and 80s, before the regeneration of the East End of London began. Not quite to the East End of London as such yet, but we are heading that way. And yeah, so I mean, I imagine these apartments up here, especially the ones overlooking the water, go for quite a price. That over there, it's called Matchmaker's Wharf, and and I'm not sure if it looks like it went inland or diverted off at any point just here, but certainly looks like a point where some more industrial boats would have pulled up with materials and so on. You can only speculate unless you know, I guess. I don't know. Matchmaker's Wharf, was there a factory there that made matches? Who knows? Someone watching this may be able to tell me. Pop a comment in there if you know the answer to that. Certainly no matches being made here now. Going to walk under the very busy A12 now. And yeah, as soon as we've gone under that A12, things have got a lot more industrial and a little bit more urban. Yeah, so there's quite a lot of businesses over there. The Hackney Marshes are behind us now. Getting towards the end of today's walk now, and just ahead of us is and to the left as well, also on the other side of the businesses and office buildings over there is the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park. And the West Ham Stadium, not far ahead of us now, which I'll be walking past or close to in the 9th and final part of this walk down to the River Thames. Still plenty of things of interest to see between here and the river. It's going to be a little bit more industrial, a little bit more gritty if you like. But nothing like as gritty as it used to be back in the day when the East End of London was a very industrial area indeed, and a lot of the time very run down, impoverished and not very well cared for. Lots changed in that time, and not least the River Lea navigation is now looking a lot better than it used to. Much more pleasurable place to come and walk and spend some time, or indeed live in many of the cases here. So once I leave the canal side in a few minutes, further down here I'll double back on myself and end up at Hackney Wick London Overground Station, which is just over there. That's the North London line, which along with a lot of trains, passenger trains, also has a lot of freight trains winding their way around the City of London from the ports to the container terminals in various parts of the country. There's a lot going on around here, good and bad. There is the white building, which is the end of today's walk. All I've got to do now is cross over to the other side, over this bridge, and I will be back here as soon as I possibly can. To continue this walk and complete the 9th and final section of it. Just up here on the right is the Hertford Regent's Canal, is it called? Hertford Union Canal. Hertford Union Canal. Now that links with the Regent Canal. The Regent Canal also spills out into the Thames and goes all the way around to Little Venice near Paddington, where it joins with the Grand Union Canal, and from the Grand Union Canal you can head north to the Midlands, Birmingham and beyond. It's all part of the canal network in this country. But here we are in Hackney. A lot going on around here. I'll be back here as soon as I possibly can to continue down to the River Thames. But from me for today, from part 8, thanks for watching. Please press like if you've made it this far into this video, then presumably you like something about it. And press subscribe if you don't mind, that would be really great. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the 9th and final episode very soon. Bye for now.